that was my attempt at trying to be scary. So yes, good evening. It is very late. It's just gone 10 o'clock, and what I was actually trying to do there was I was trying to come up from sort of under my desk and make you jump. I was going to go ah, but I bashed my shoulder in the process. So thankfully, I have my hood here to protect me. So why am I sitting here with my sort of old phone torch, essentially making funny noises and shining a light on me? Essentially, it's cutting through the dark. But I wanted to do this sort of darkness one because in basically 2 weeks, well, under 2 weeks now, it's going to be Halloween. And I wanted to look, are there any sort of, well, from my own knowledge and any I could potentially find online, could I come up with some Halloween fragrances? And I thought we could ask ChatGPT as well for their recommendations. Fragrances for Halloween. So what I've kind of done here is I've tried to think of potential notes, maybe bottles, in terms of their design, and just names of fragrances as well that I think you could link to Halloween. So whether it's notes, bottle, or name, yeah, I've come up with 10, and some I know, some I don't know. So I'm going to need to use Fragrantica to kind of help me a little bit with them, and then we'll as I said, we'll use ChatGPT at the end to see if they recommend some different ones to me, and yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if they come up with the same, if they found the same as me. So yeah, hopefully enjoy this one. Again, please recommend any that you've potentially worn for Halloween or a sort of scary gothic type season as well, and I'd potentially be looking at buying them at some point. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll announce my sort of 10, and then we'll ask ChatGPT at the end. Okay, so the first Halloween sort of type fragrance I went for is basically because of the name. So it's Versace Eros Flame. So this is a flanker of the original Versace Eros, which is incredibly popular, a sort of night out, juvenile type sort of fragrance. Vanilla and mint, I believe, are the sort of prominent things in this one. This one's a little bit more citrusy. So in terms of on fragrance, because the sort of main accords are citrus, vanilla, fresh, spicy, aromatic, woody, warm, spicy, sweet, and powdery. People say it's pretty versatile, and it gets 4.33 out of 5 and needs 15,000 votes. So pros of this one, what do people say? Good performance, enjoyable to wear, seductive, gets compliments, realistic Kenoto note. Kenoto de Ligure Black de Palma is incredibly popular, sort of floral component I tend to find with it. So yeah, it sounds like a really nice citrus to this one as well, which sort of contradicts what I think the name is. Flame, I think, is something a little bit more, yeah, tobacco-y with a bit more depth. But people also say it's again, it's got negative reviews by YouTube reviewers, which has influenced its sort of opinion. People just say it's unappealing, a bit boring, again, generic mainstream, just a little bit immature, but that's kind of what the original is. So yeah, again, looking at the sort of notes, cedar, patchouli, oak moss in the base, so it does have a little bit of depth to this one as well. So yeah, one to maybe consider if you want something a little bit safe, a bit designer. Everyone knows Versace as well, and Versace Eros Flame. I've not tried it personally, but yeah, if you have, let me know. Is it worth getting? Is it better than the original? Because yeah, it sounds a little bit different to that one. So we'll go on to the second fragrance. Okay, so the second fragrance is one actually marketed for women, and it's not cheap. It's about £200 this one, but it's called Absolute Hell of a Rose by Lancôme. I hope that's how you pronounce the name. But obviously the word hell, Halloween, definitely gives that sort of vibe as well. And the main accords of this one, rose, aromatic, woody, floral, earthy, musky, and green. Now, it's quite new, came out in 2024, 3.7 out of 5, only 30 votes. Again, more of a winter, fall type fragrance. I have to say, in people who bought modern fragrances, you'll realise they don't give you these big note breakdowns. There's definitely more notes than what's on Fragrantica here, but vetiver, rose, and amber. People say this is quite smoky, and that's something that a lot of the women who have bought this one don't really like. It says it feels like walking through a burned garden, earth, ash. So yeah, I think it's that Encre Noir type vibe people talk about. So it's obviously that sort of dry, inky vetiver with this. But yeah, again, I think that suits that sort of time of year. Again, Halloween season, getting a bit colder. I love rose as a note, and maybe that sort of smoky earthiness that you might be getting from that sort of vetiver type note, and maybe a bit of the amber. Yeah, I just think that works for Halloween. But obviously, the name being obviously Hell of a Rose is the reason I chose this one as my second fragrance. So yeah, not a cheapie. I'm sure this is high quality though. So the third fragrance I've gone for, I don't think this one is expensive, to be honest. I've never had one from this brand. This one is for men, and it's Ed Hardy's Skulls and Roses for Him. Now, I love the picture of the bottle here. It's basically a skull with a rose in its mouth. So again, not only sort of name with skulls, obviously the actual bottle is perfect for this, and you'll see that with the next fragrance I'm going to do after this one. But what are the main accords of this one? Well, the main accord is lavender, aromatic, citrus, fresh, spicy, musky, mossy, warm, spicy, powdery, earthy, and herbal. This sounds to me like a real, and I haven't seen the pros and cons yet, but a generic masculine type scent. Certainly, you've got that lavender at the top, which I think is going to remind us a little bit of that Mont Blanc Legend type vibe. But then you've got the fresh spiciness, probably a bit of pepperiness there that will, yeah, almost bring out a little bit more depth and that masculinity that you might want in it. So let's have a look at the things. So bergamot and cardamom, so a bit of a citrus opening with a bit of sort of spice, sweetness, lavender, musk, and oat moss in the base. So what do people say? In fact, there you go. Without even looking, Mont Blanc Legend is one of the ones they mainly compare it to. People say it's basic. So just again, just looking at those main chords, I think it's just a very basic type scent. Lavender's a little bit harsh, quite synthetic, but that's what you're going to get with these cheapy phrases. But this one brings versatility. So I think, again, this time of year, absolutely fine. You can wear it to the gym, wherever, and that's absolutely fine for me. If you don't feel in the Halloween spirit, something to sort of be cozy with while sitting at home, quite casual type scent. So yeah, but of course the bottle was the big selling point for this one. Now of course a line that definitely does sort of skull shaped bottles, I'm sure you'll know these ones very well, is Police. And I think the sort of line or the flankers that have come from it is from the 2B line. So Police to Be for men. I've gone for the original here. Now this one got 3.76 out of 5, 634 votes. Came out in 2011, this one. So what is this fragrance like? Well, top notes are grapefruit and pepper, middle note violet leaf, base notes amber, Virginia cedar, and patchouli. So essentially it's a kind of fresh, spicy type fragrance. Again, I think this is going to be super versatile. People say it's more of a spring, summer one. But yeah, let's have a little look at what people have said on the comments on there. Again, forgettable. I think that's the main thing people are saying from this. One sniff, bit headache inducing, synthetic dust cloud. Some people just say that it does the job. And I think this is what I always say with cheap sort of phrases like this is what I'm looking for. Something that's just quite versatile, quite safe, quite masculine. I could just put it in a bag in my car or something like that as well. But I really like the bottle. The bottle for me is certainly what brings that Halloween vibe. I like the skull bottles. In fact, I bought my mum one years ago called Shocking Scent. If you've not seen that one, it's a women's fragrance. And we've still got the bottle downstairs. So I'll have to get a picture of that at some point as well. But it's, my mum loves skulls. You know, she loves them. We've bought her necklaces and stuff with skulls. And yeah, she loved the bottle so much that she chose to keep it. And yeah, for Halloween, as a sort of gift, if anyone does sort of gifts for Halloween, goes to Halloween parties, maybe get a Police fragrance. They do sort of skull bottles for women as well, as I was just mentioning. So yeah, this line is definitely one to look at, and you're not going to break the bank. I think this one's about £12, so yeah, not bad at all, and gives a bit of a Halloween vibe. So the next one here is more in the name than anything. You've heard of Halloween Man X, you've heard of Halloween, probably the fragrance house. So of course I had to put Halloween in this one. But this got a little bit of hype, this fragrance, a long time ago on the sort of fragrance community on YouTube, about, I say 6 or 7 years ago when I was first getting into fragrances. Now this one's Halloween Man Rock On. So aromatic, woody, lavender, fresh, spicy, citrus, warm, spicy, fruity, musty, sweet, ozonic. They're the main sort of chords. Again, it sounds like a very safe sort of fragrance to me. What does it get on fragrance score? Well, 3.81 out of 5. Not the best. But what sort of notes are we getting here? Top notes, lemon, pink pepper, cardamom, and bamboo. I like the idea of bamboo. Bamboo in fragrances. It's not that rare, actually. But again, I'll be really interested to know what actually that's bringing to a fragrance. Red apple, lavender, rosemary, violet leaf. There's a little bit of fruity sweetness in there as well, along with the clean sort of powdery notes. And then the base has a bit of that woodiness with musk, moss, sandalwood, and amber. So what do people say about it? What do people like about it? It's quite a big sort of list. Again, it's been compared to Mont Blanc Legend. So a little bit that, it's that lavender, isn't it? Boring, it smells zesty, but a neutral grapefruit. Nothing like Mont Blanc Legend, someone says here. So people say the apple's quite prominent. It's a nice red bottle, this one. I do quite like the bottles of this. But again, people say it's very much a day scent, so maybe not so much for Halloween, even if the name's quite fitting here. This again feels like someone who's probably trying to get into fragrances, maybe an entry type level, just wants something casually, easy to wear, easy to put on. And yeah, again, if you want a sort of Halloween gift, it's certainly in the name. So yeah, this one I don't think suited to maybe the occasion so much, but the name, obviously I had to put this one in there, didn't I? The next one my brother currently has, and to be honest with you, I'm not so sure about this one, but this is meant to be, this has been released by Lush, essentially for this time of year. It's called Pumpkin Spice. I don't know how much they're going to keep this one though. I was very interested what they called it. So what they tend to do, again, talking about fragrances, they haven't actually given you any real note breakdown. This isn't on Fragrantica this time. Clove and ginger is what they've mentioned. They've also got carrot seed and clove bud oil in it. So again, kind of that winter Christmassy time type vibe. So what do they say about it as well? So what they say here is carrot seed balances invigorating spices, clove and ginger with a comforting warmth, the perfect companion to a crisp autumn morning. Obviously, we're in the autumn morning. Now, from my experience of this fragrance, because obviously, again, I can't say what other people have given it, it gets really low reviews, by the way, on Lush. Lush body sprays tend to get 4.2 out of 5 in terms of their reviews. This one's got 2.8 with 93. Now, if anyone's been to, like, I don't know, a pottery class, or they've gone to, like, these old museums where they have, like, herbs and spices from the past, that's what this smells like to me. This has got this kind of, I don't know, fennel, aniseed type vibe to it. I don't get pumpkin. I've always think of pumpkin, particularly like when you cook pumpkin, you get this really nice sweetness. This is not sweet at all. This is very grown up. This is very, very strange. It's a very strange fragrance. But if you like that sort of herbal type vibe to things, but that sort of aniseedy stuff that you put in cooking food, that's what I get from this one. Sort of raw, sort of old spices. And yeah, it's certainly a try before you buy. If you go to a Lush store, this is one I want you just to try and spray and just see what you think about it, because it's very daring. Lush are quite good for those sort of sweet gourmand fragrances that you almost want to eat them. This one's slightly different. This one's a little bit more grown up, more sophisticated, and yeah, I mean, it's meant to be for Halloween. So pumpkin spice. I like the fact they've tried to sort of go into that type of fragrance. Very, very different, breaking the mold. So I can only appreciate it for that. But yeah, it's definitely not for me, this one. But it's definitely suited to Halloween. Now, I don't really know this brand, but actually it's quite available, particularly in the UK as well, in a lot of sort of shops. So what's this one called? It's again for women, this fragrance. Now, it's called Ghost Deep Night, and Ghost is the brand, essentially. Now, this one here for women came out in 2001, so it's an old fragrance. I like the bottle again. I have to say, it's something I'm really admiring with this. But of course, I just thought Ghost, perfect for Halloween. So gets 3.96 out of 5, 2,313 votes. This is going to be quite fruity looking at it. So the top notes include rose, you've got woodsy notes in the middle with peach and apricots, again fruity, and then the base notes are vanilla, musk and amber. This is a winter fall fragrance. So what do people like about it? The bottle design is one of the main pros, people say. Obscure, they quite like the warm spiced apricots. Again, that feels like something that would be suited to that Halloween type time with the spices. Definitely night out, draws compliments. People say it's a little bit maybe too masculine for some, a bit too fruity. And I think the reason people are saying it's quite masculine, looking at what I'm reading here on Fragrantica, is that woodiness. I really like woody fragrances, as we mentioned the other day, and yeah, I think a lot of women find it maybe a little bit too woody. This with that fruitiness, but yeah, interesting one again. Not too expensive. I don't think you're breaking the bank for this. It's around £30 looking at general price for this. So again, it's a sort of gift idea for Halloween if you do that thing, or just for yourself. Yeah, if not, I think the bottle's good enough to sit on your window, so at Halloween you'd have to buy any more decorations. Right, so we're upping the cost a little bit here with this fragrance house. I really need to touch on this fragrance house more and try a few of their fragrances, because the accords on these just sound so me. This is Black Phantom by Kilian. Unisex fragrance. Main accords: sweet, warm, spicy, caramel, coffee, chocolate, rum. They love their booziness. Woody, almond, vanilla, and powdery. So this one gets 4.09 out of 5 with 8,824 votes. Been out since 2017. So yeah, it's got dark chocolate in it, coffee, almond, again, nutty sweetness with a bit of booze. That works really well for me. I'm loving almond in fragrances at the moment. I think it really suits this autumn time and of course Halloween time. And really with this one, I picked it with Black Phantom. Just sounded this really black juice, I think, from this bottle. It just felt very fitting for Halloween. So people say it's mysterious. Again, perfect for Halloween. Very dark. Suitable for gourmand lovers. Yeah, this touches all those bases. That vanilla, boozy sweetness. Sounds great. I like the thought of chocolate with it as well. Chocolate and rum. People say it's very much unisex as well, which is great, because sometimes with fragrances they can lean a certain way. What do people not like about it though? Expensive. Yeah, Kilian fragrances are super expensive, which is why I've never really bought them. You don't find many clones of these, I don't find, particularly on these websites like the Essence Vault and that. I think they need to touch on Kilian a bit more. It tends to be the Arabic brands that do it more. They say the coffee scent's a little bit too strong, maybe. That's fine by me. Not suitable for those who prefer ultra masculine fragrances. Again, maybe those sort of super sweet gourmand notes, maybe not suitable for an older person, but yeah, may not live up to the hype. So again, I think what you'll notice with these things, there are a lot of sweet fragrances that touch on these notes. Now, I expect this one's just got that extra quality, but again, when you're spending £200 more for something, you probably want it to do something a little bit more, break that mold even more, because yeah, you can just get loads of cheapies that do enough of the job for most people. But yeah, again, I just think the name was very suited to it, and it sounds like a pretty much mass-pleasing fragrance for sort of Halloween, winter time, and yeah, hopefully I'll be getting a few sort of Killian fragrances in the future. Two to go. I'm sure you've heard of this one as well. This is for women, but I thought this one kind of feels Halloweeny in its own way. It's Poison by Dior. So again, another fruity sweet type fragrance, amber, white floral, woody, warm, spicy. Again, it feels a little bit more like a nighttime, night out type fragrance, and again, more for the sort of winter time, fall time, Halloween time, ultimately. But yeah, I thought the word poison just feels a bit like Halloween. So what was this one? This one came out in 1985. It's had nearly 16,000 votes on Fragrantica, so 3.93 out of 5, nearly 4. That's pretty good considering that amount of votes, and also how long it's been out. And we know old school fragrances can be very divisive these days as well. You know, I own plenty that are old school, and yeah, they don't always last the test of time. So what are the top notes in this? Plum, which I think fits with the sort of bottle looking at it. Wild berries, coriander, anise, and Brazilian rosewood. Middle notes: tuberose, incense, white honey, cinnamon, carnation, jasmine, African orange flower, and rose. Again, such long lists on these old school fragrances, and yeah, you can tell just by having incense and again rose. There's a bit more depth here, a bit more darkness about this one. And then base notes: vanilla, amber, sandalwood, heliotrope, musk, vetiver, and cedar. So a bit of woodiness there as well. So what do people like about it? Sillage and longevity. Old school fragrances are brilliant for that, by the way. Very well blended, which is great because when you have a note breakdown in this complex, as we've said before, particularly with cheap, you do notice those synthetic ones kicking through. So nostalgic, of course, great for special occasions. So again, Halloween time, perfect for that sort of night out if you're going out for a meal, maybe on Halloween. Yeah, I think this one would be quite good. Also, maybe if you're getting a gift for a partner, if they've got an October type birthday, I think this would be great. I think my dad bought this for mum because she has her birthday in October as well. But some people say it's too strong, a bit headache inducing. Again, fruity notes can be headache inducing if they are really strong. And yeah, just not suitable for everyday wear. Well, it's good because this is a Halloween video and I think it's perfect for that ultimately. And the last one, I think this is going to be completely butchered on how I pronounce this. We'll give it a try, Harry. Ange au Demon by Givenchy. Again, another women's fragrance. For some reason, I think these sort of names are certainly, you know, in these fragrances that I've picked for Halloween, have certainly been more targeted to women. Again, vanilla sweet, warm spicy, white floral, aromatic woody, yellow floral metallic. So what does this one get? Because I don't really know this fragrance. When did it come out? 2006. So it's not a new fragrance. It's actually had quite a lot of votes on Fragrantica. 3.4 out of 5 with 12,686. Top notes are saffron, thyme, and mandarin orange. So again, you've got a bit of citrus, but also a bit of that floral component. Middle notes: lily, yang yang, orchid. Base notes: vanilla, tonka bean, rosewood, and oak blossom. You're getting that. Vanilla seems to be in all these fragrances, doesn't it, as a base note? Just adds that extra sweetness, which is lovely in this sort of October time, Halloween time, when it is getting a little bit chillier outside and the clocks go back. So yeah, what do people like about this one? Well blended again, fantastic, which is great. People get a lot of compliments, very sophisticated, dark and mysterious, perfect. Again, suitable for Halloween if you're wearing a mask or anything scary or dressing up in more gothic attire. Perfect for evening wear. Certainly gets, you know, plenty of compliments. This is definitely a statement scent, essentially. That's what people are saying. And for that reason, the cons, again, counteracting everything that's been said about Pro, it's not a safe blind buy. I think when you're sort of buying Givenchy, a nice designer brand, it's very hard to sort of blind buy fragrances because they're not cheap. Some people say it's very dominating, super strong. Might remind some of a Gothic cathedral graveyard. Well, that's a pro in this video, isn't it? So some people say it might smell old-fashioned or like candy, and it's maybe more masculine than feminine. Interesting. People are worried about reformulations as well. Again, you cannot win because one of the cons is that it's too strong, too loud, and then Lavicon 2 down is reformulated, a bit weaker. But yeah, this has been around since 2006, we said. So it's obviously doing something right, and it's got the name that's perfectly suited to Halloween. Okay, so yeah, they were my 10 selections there. What did you think of those ones, first of all? Well, let's see what ChatGPT are going to say as well. What I'm going to get them to do, I have no idea if this is going to work, by the way. I'm going to turn the volume up to 100. I'm going to get them to recommend me 5 Halloween or phrases suitable for Halloween. And I want them to say it in a sort of ghostly, ghouly voice. I don't know if they'll be able to do that, but we'll find out anyway, and we'll see what recommendations they have. Are they going to be the same as mine? Hi there. So, in your best sort of ghost voice, if you can do a ghost sort of voice, can you recommend for me 5 fragrances that you would recommend to wear during Halloween? Whether that's the name, the smell of the fragrance, or the shape of the bottle. What would your 5 recommendations be in as simple words as you can?
Ooh, in the eerie night of Halloween, I'd recommend scents that whisper of the supernatural. First, we have the misty notes of ghostly jasmine, then the haunting aroma of midnight woods. Next, the spectral allure of vanilla phantom. After that, the chilling embrace of smoky amber. And
I think
finally,
she's just
the
listing
ethereal
those.
touch of creeping lavender. Perfect for the season.
Okay, but can you tell me any fragrances that you would buy in that voice?
Ooh, absolutely. I would choose
This
perhaps
is
the
scary.
mysterious black orchid or the
That's
chilling
scary.
leather and smoke, maybe even the spectral dark amber, the ghostly saffron and oud, and the haunting cedarwood mist. Each one would be perfect for a night of whispers and shadows.
Any more?
Ooh, certainly. We could also have the enchanting midnight rose or the eerie vanilla incense, perhaps the
Yeah, these
ghostly
fragrances.
petrified wood or the spectral opium noir. And don't forget the haunting ghost
I'll look up
pepper
what they've said
and
in a minute.
amber. All of these would add a touch of the supernatural to your Halloween ambiance.
I'm very impressed with that voice. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
So interesting. So the sort of I have to say I'm very impressed by the voice, by the way. But the 3 that sort of stood out to me from what I heard what they said was Black Opium, or they said Opium Noir, but Black Opium, by Yves Saint Laurent. This is a very well known fragrance. I'm sure if you see the bottle underneath me at the moment, everyone knows this fragrance. It's definitely yeah, it was one that I'm sure my mum's own. But again, it's sort of black coffee. That's one of the main notes in this one. I think there must be a floral component. Pink pepper. I love pink pepper in fragrances. Again, vanilla, patchouli. So it's got this earthy depth to it, a bit gothic, bit mysterious again. I think that's a brilliant shout by them as well. As is Black Orchid or Oud 24 Hours by Ardal Zafran. That dark floral. You get dark or bitter chocolate in this with these nice florals, which I think has saffron and patchouli and all those things in as well. So yeah, they're 2 brilliant chats. Again, what they've kind of done there really well, ChatGPT, they've added that mysterious type vibe, again with the typical sort of notes that you'd expect, floral notes in women's fragrances, and obviously Black Orchid's certainly unisex. You've got those gourmand notes like chocolate, incense, oud, patchouli. Brilliant. Really, really good shouts. And then the other one they mentioned was Midnight Rose, I heard. And that's a brand that I mentioned in this. It's Longcom. So, yeah, this one has blackcurrant, raspberry, and cedar, interestingly. This one doesn't seem so sort of dark in a way, but it's definitely a more winter type scent looking at the sort of notes in it. And people say with this one it's intoxicating, ideal for date night. So again, a nighttime fragrance, so we can link that to Halloween, obviously midnight. But yeah, quite sweet, quite cloying, quite floral. But yeah, interesting suggestions there. So hopefully, if anyone is planning to buy maybe a fragrance around this time, whether for themselves or for a friend for a birthday or anything around this Halloween season, you get trick or treating or a night out. Yeah, maybe you consider these scents as well. But let me know what sort of scents you'd be wearing at the moment. So, I filmed this video basically 2 weeks before Halloween. Gives you a bit of time then to maybe buy these if you're interested. But yeah, your suggestions, what you would wear on Halloween, any other bottles or names that you know of that you think give that Halloween vibe, I'd be very interested to hear what they are. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one today. I'm looking forward to turning the light back on now because, yeah, I'm getting a little bit sleepy, and that's quite blinding, that, I must admit. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, plenty more fragrance videos to come, so I'll hopefully catch you later for those.